This is the second OnShape tutorial for the pen project. In this one, we're going to create the grip tube. All right, this should be fairly quick and fairly simple. There's a couple different ways we could do this. All right, but we're going to stick with our methodology that we did in the previous video. Before we do that, though, I do want to make one note. It's possible for me to change the labels for the part that I've created or the part studio. So in this case, I'm going to right click on my part studio and I'm going to rename this to pen tip. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing for my part. And you'll see why in just a second. So the next thing I want to do is I want to create a new part, but I want it to be tied to the same document. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to hit plus, and I'm going to create a new part studio. And then instead of calling it pen tip, all right, we'll rename it and we'll call this lower grip tube. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose my front view once again, right click, new sketch, right click off and view normal to plane, or view normal to the sketch plane. I'm going to turn off my other planes. And then just like before, I'm going to start a line. I want it to be a construction line. So I'll start at the origin and draw to the left. I don't care what length it is at the moment, so I'm just going to hit escape. And now I'm going to work on drawing my object lines. So I'm going to go back to my line tool and make sure I don't have it set for construction. All right, you'll notice this isn't highlighted. So I'm going to start at the origin. I'm going to draw up. I'm going to draw over to the left. I want to make sure that when I draw over to the left, I'm parallel to this original line, which should have been a horizontal line. Okay, and then I'm going to mouse over this, but not click on it, and snap this so that it's even with the end of my center line. All right, I'm going to come down, and then I'm going to come back, and then I'm going to hit escape to get out of my line tool. I'll use my trim tool, like we did in the last video, to swipe through that. So now I have a bunch of geometry. It's all blue. All right, I'll hit my F key to zoom in a little bit. All right, zoomed in a little too far, so I use my scroll wheel to back up. If I click on my scroll wheel like it's a button and drag, so I'm clicking and dragging with my scroll as a button, I can pan around so I can move my object within the space, which is nice. Notice it's blue, so that means I need to add dimensions to make this thing constrained. So I'll go up to my dimension tool or hit the D key on the keyboard. I'll set the length of this center line. Since this is driving the length of the whole part, I'm going to set that to 2.375 or 2 3/8 of an inch. Again, I'll hit F to fit. All right, I'll move it around, zoom as I see fit. Okay, and then I'm going to go from my center line to the inside of the tube. This is my first radial dimension, and this is going to be 129 thousandths or 0.129. I'm then going to do that again from the center line out to the outside, and I'll give this one 138 thousandths or 0.138. So that's all I really needed for this. So now I'm ready to revolve. So I'm going to green check. Okay, I'm going to zoom in here so I can select this face. All right, once I have that face selected, I'll go to revolve. I'm going to choose my axis of revolution, which is this center line again, and then I'll green check. Okay, this creates a new part, and you'll see it's hollow, which is what I wanted. Just like the last one, I want this to be brass, so I'll right click on my part, go to edit appearance, and change that to brass, green check. So now my lower grip tube is done. I'm ready to move on to the next video and do the next part.